deliberations with the Minister of Public Health regarding the state of affairs of the St. Martin General Hospital. Public Prosecutor's Office files appeal against verdicts in Lisbon case. Start to prepare for the hurricane season. Be prepared. Ministry of Justice strengthens rehabilitation efforts through DSRP, storytelling, initiative at Point Blanche and MLC. From the island, St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for May 13th, 2026. Deliberations with the Minister of Public Health regarding the state of affairs of the St. Martin General Hospital.
And there are those individuals, and I will mention some of them in particular, that have alternative agenda. And I deserve the people needs to know that. The people deserves to know that. Madam Chair, Lady, Agenda Point 3 concerns matters related to integrity within the Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor. In order to provide Parliament with clarity on this matter, I have prepared a short presentation based on a letter that was presented to me by the President of the URSM Board, as well as my response to that letter. Madam Chair, I want to make it clear that I will not go into extensive detail regarding the content of those letters, as I believe most parliamentarians have read them, and so have St. Martin. It is also not my intention to engage in a tit-for-tat or a back and forth of exchange of information of what may perceive to be what is or is not. Madam Chair, when I speak, I will not throw allegations, but I have every document needed to back what I'm saying on the floor of Parliament. Instead, I will focus on highlighting what I consider to be factual and most relevant and important aspects of this matter. Of course, I remain available for any questions that the members of Parliament may have. The agenda for this particular agenda point will be 1. I will begin by explaining the reason for being here today and the context surrounding this discussion. 2, I will address certain integrity matters within the Ministry of VSI that require clarification, as I firmly believe these have led to us being where we are today. Madam Chair, members of Parliament, I recently received a letter from the board of the URSM, as you are aware. In that letter, the board indicated that they no longer recognize me as a member of the party and expressed their lack of confidence in my ability to effectively continue to serve as a minister. The letter also raised questions regarding contracts that I signed in early 2025, as well as certain appointments related to SZV. Given the nature of these matters and the public attention that they have received, I find it very important that I address them here today and explain the context surrounding them and outline my response to the concerns that were raised. From the beginning, when I made the decision to join the URSM, it was because I believed in the principle the party presented to the people of St. Martin. The idea of taking a different road in politics. One grounded in integrity, Madam Chair. Grounded in responsibility, Madam Chair. Grounded in accountability, Madam Chair. Grounded in service to the community. Those were the principles that I identified with, that motivated me to become a member of the URSM. despite the challenges that I have experienced along the way within the party and with its leadership, I have made a conscious decision to remain professional. And only God knows what I went through. I've never spoken out publicly. I've never lashed out. I've always kept matters internal, out of respect for the institution and to avoid what most members of parliament publicly stated, the embarrassment for this country of St. Martin. I swallowed all of that. And instead, I chose to focus my energy on working harder than I've ever worked before, because it took me a lifetime to get here. It took me a lifetime to get here. And the commitments that I made to the people that entrusted their vote in me, the commitments to our senior citizens, to our most vulnerables, those commitments I took very seriously. And I remain determined not to fail them. Madam Chair, if those in the public, parliamentarians, if you follow me, you would realize that I'm not just saying this, but there are activities, policies, and things that I have done to back this up. What stands before you is not a mouth champion, Madam Chair Lady. It's a man of action. I don't like to speak a lot, but I'm a man of action. Some people say that I'm a very quiet person. Some say I'm too quiet. Some might call me soft. It's okay. But Madam Chair, at the end of the day, I know who I am. Madam Chair, one thing that makes me turn around from those descriptions is when you start to question my action and question my integrity. That's where I draw the line. Madam Chair, we'll now move on and address the matter referred to in the letter from the board concerning a contract that I signed early in 2025 with ZAR Management for the purpose of conducting an assessment of the mental health project currently being carried out by NRPB. I will briefly explain what transpired in relation to this matter, but also provide context surrounding the decision to engage this assessment so that members of Parliament and the public has a clear understanding of the situation. Prior to taking office, Madam Chair, members of Parliament, including members of the public and civil servants within government, already gave me the heads up about how NRPB functions, things to look out for, how to make sure that this project within VSR, such an essential, important project, does not end up like all the other projects that have failed, that were not realized. Madam Chair, when any NRP project is not realized, the people of St. Martin is the one that loses out. The future generation is the one that loses out. When I became a minister, there were several things, Madam Chair, caught my attention. It was first the staff, the demotivation of the staff, the feeling of unappreciation that they had, the burnt out that they were suffering. So I knew immediately an assessment of the personnel-related challenges within the ministry was necessary. I started focusing on the people that serve this country. They are the engine. Madam Chair Lady, I also realized that what was also important was the paternity leave law within VSI. A lot of persons came and gave me information. Listen, the general public of St. Martin, the public sector, the paternity leave is already applied, but why not for the civil servants? So that is one of the things that also popped out within the first week. In addition, also equally important, was the legal support for the ministry. The legal support for the ministry, Madam Chair. The ministry that needed to know that what they were doing was right to ensure that they didn't find themselves in a dilemma that will cost this country money. At the end of the day, they was dealing with the people's business, but also the lives of the most vulnerable, and especially when it comes to social service, but also the healthcare of our country. It must also be noted that I found out all of this in the first week. There was essentially only one individual, so I'm going back now to the Mental Health Foundation project. I was surprised in the first week when they told me that it only had one person that was dealing with the Mental Health Foundation project, and that person was 50% representing VSI, and the other 50%, that individual was representing NRPB. Same individual. A project as important as that. A project that in reality, VSI needed one person full-time to deal with it, and a team from the aspect of NRPB.
The Public Prosecutor's Office has filed an appeal against the verdicts of the Court of First Instance of St. Martin in the Lisbon criminal case, which concerns bribery of public officials. The appeal was filed in the cases of RB, RADS, and SLG. The court rendered its judgment in this case on April 29th. The main defendant, RB, was suspected of having accepted bribes from 3 individuals while serving as a member of the Parliament of St. Martin, including by accepting bribes in exchange for favouring these individuals. The court ruled that bribery could not be proven in 2 cases. In one case, the court did find bribery proven. The Public Prosecutor's Office has reviewed the verdicts but does not agree with several of the court's legal considerations, nor with the sentence imposed. For that reason, it has been decided to file an appeal against the verdicts in the cases of RB, RADS, and SLG. The Public Prosecutor's Office emphasizes that cases of this nature strike at the heart of democratic governance. Integrity in public office is essential to maintaining public trust and ensuring that decisions are made in the interest of society as a whole without being influenced by personal gain. Corruption, both passive and active, undermines fair decision-making, distorts economic opportunities, and erodes trust in public institutions. Addressing such conduct remains a priority within the broader efforts to uphold the rule of law in St. Martin. The Lisbon investigation was conducted by the Joint Investigation Team, RST, led by the central team of the Public Prosecutor's Office of Curaçao, St. Martin, Bonaire, St. Eustatius, and Saba. RST is a multidisciplinary investigative unit active in the Caribbean parts of the kingdom and focuses on complex and cross-border criminal investigations.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah, your social health insurances.
Is in significant need of legal professionals. This is something that all of my colleague ministers are facing. And for those that don't know, Department of Legal Affairs falls under General Affairs.
Minister Brugge, I ask your indulgence as I allow MP Jansen Webster to make an interruption at this time. MP Jansen Webster, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair, I just wanted, when the minister speaks of the former minister, because of my short term in there, if he would mention if he means Minister Veronica Jansen-Webster, or if he means Minister Otley. Why is that? Because I understand that the minister is tying in that maybe information was withheld from me as well from Yezetin Way, but the minister also mentioned that he requested information from Yezetin Way December 2024, and I think that the minister swore in at the end of November 2024. He said he requested information from Yezetin Way 2024. I did not request information from Yezetin Way for a contractor or for work with NRPP. So I don't think it's me he means, but if the minister can clarify which former minister might have also information has been withheld from, because to my knowledge, no information was withheld from me. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Jansen-Webster. Minister, if you can, you may address the interruption query by the member, but may continue your presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Lady, just for clarity, I will address the interruption. MP Veronica Webster, yes, I did indicate that information could possibly was withheld from the former minister. Why? Because, again, as I stated, no information pertaining to the NRPB and the delays and the situation of NRPB was in the transition document. So yes, I was speaking about you as you were the previous minister before me. When I talk about requests to YZ, I was not speaking about requests made by, through you, Madam Chair Lady. To you, Madam Chair Lady, when I speak about the request sent to YZ Way early December 2024, I was not speaking about the Honourable Member of Parliament, Ms. Webster, sending that request, but my person, Minister Brugge, sending that request. Because as stated, I was sworn in November 2024. Next month, as I said, I straight into action, hit the ground running, and I started addressing some of the urgent matters within VSR. I hope that that clarifies the interruption. SZV was instructed, SZV get a lot of instructions, necessary though. SZV was instructed to accelerate work on the 1B draft law, prepare a revised 2006 budget with clear cost containment measures, and identify interim solutions for the big situation. Finally, it is important to note that this review also included the need to address outstanding audits that Outstanding
Brugge,
audits.
I need to interrupt you once more as I allow MP Otley to make an interruption. MP Otley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, as one of the initiators of the meeting, I can say why I called for the meeting. And I heard the good minister through you said that when he referred to the slide, the reason we are here today. This is not the reason. This is part of the reason. The reason we are here today and the reason that I called this meeting because after this came a whole 12-page letter that was leaked to the media. After this was accusations of abuse of power. So I hope that this is not where we're ending because I need to get a clear view, especially knowing what's at stake. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Otley. And Minister, like MP Otley asked that question for the sake of the members of Parliament, because I saw you mention going over to the next subtopic. And thus I ask, according to what are you, what topics are you following? If I look at the letter that I received from the members of Parliament and the request to you based on that letter, and I read what it reads. I was wondering when you mentioned earlier now to the next topic and you went over to SZV, where are those topics listed if the members can get an indication of that based on MP Otley's question.
Yeah.
So if you can explain that, please, to the members. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much for the interruption inquiry. Madam Chair, that 12-page letter also included matters related to SZV. So I just wanted to give a holistic explanation of the severity of the situation in SZV. If members of Parliament would like, I have no problem with going fast forward some of these information. And at the end of the day, Parliament also has the presentation, correct, right? Oh, I can also provide Parliament with the presentation to which the information that I'm going to pass over, you would have. Okay? If that's the request of...
Minister, of course, you can, I encourage you to share whatever information that you can. However, the request for this meeting is the undersigned, so the MPs requesting this meeting wanted an urgent public meeting with you, Minister, to address the recent integrity-related allegations within the Ministry of VSA, including the request for an investigation by the Integrity Chamber, and your presence was requested. Based on this request signed by 3 members of Parliament, you were invited to the meeting. So that's basically the request from the members for this meeting. So I can understand MP Otley's question with respect to where you are right now. However, I want to state that the topic that you are deliberating on is important. And again, any information you want to share with Parliament, of course, you're always free to do so. But in the context of this meeting, it is based on that request, which request was forwarded to you with the same verbiage as the letter I received.
All right.
Minister, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. As I indicated just now, the intention was mainly to, in the letter itself, had issues related to SZV, and I just wanted to highlight why it is so important that there were continuation, and also focus was on the financial sustainability of SZV when it comes for the people of St. Martin. However, if you allow me 5 minutes just to go through my notes so that I can get to what is actually what the MPs are asking for to assist, to make sure that I can get to exactly what the MPs are asking for so that I can present that aspect.
You're requesting 5 minutes to kind of
Correct.
configure that. But I see before, okay, Minister, I will allow that, but before that, I give MP Roseberg the opportunity for an interruption as she's already standing at the lectern. MP Roseberg.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Seeing that the Minister requested 5 minutes, through you, Madam Chair, I would like to also know, just for my own expectation, if during that 5 minutes also
the question, what I would like to get answered, because that was, for me, important to know if that will be discussed today, is if the investigation in regards to the integrity chamber, if that will also be part of what will be discussed today. That's for me very important because I saw the request from the members, and I would like to know if today we will get an update on that regard as well, what the status is and what the possible outcome is as well.
From 4-7 May 2026, a series of 6 storytelling sessions was held at Point Blanche Prison and the Miss Laley Center, MLC, creating space for individuals in custody and young adults in rehabilitation to reflect on their experiences, choices, and future pathways through storytelling and dialogue. The initiative, organized by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, under the Ministry of Justice's Detention Sector Reform Program, DSRP, used comics and storytelling rooted in the lived experiences of individuals who are or have been incarcerated. Through these sessions, participants engaged with stories that are often untold or underrepresented, exploring themes of incarceration, resilience, identity, accountability, and change, facilitated by the Brink Literacy Project, a US-based organization. The sessions centered on comics created by former Brink students. The deeply personal stories resonated strongly with participants, many of whom recognized echoes of their own experiences. This relatability sparked open and thoughtful dialogue around key turning points, influences, and decisions that had shaped their lives. Since 2015, Brink Literacy Project has worked in prisons, schools, and community spaces across Colorado and the United States, using comics and storytelling to support literacy, reflection, and personal development among marginalized populations. For many participants, the sessions offered something rare within correctional settings, an opportunity not only to be heard, but to listen inward. Through guided discussions and storytelling exercises, participants explored aspects of their own journeys while engaging in conversations about personal growth, purpose, and the possibility of change. Several described the experience as meaningful and impactful, noting that although the sessions felt short, they left a lasting impression. Many also expressed hope that the initiative could continue and expand in the future.
Now for the weather forecast, tonight through Thursday evening. Partly cloudy and breezy. Brief isolated showers are likely. Surface winds, tonight through Thursday evening. East-southeasterly with a gentle to moderate breeze at 10 to 16 mph and possible higher gusts. State of the sea, slight to moderate waves, swells, 3 to 5 feet outlook through Friday evening. Fair to partly cloudy and breezy with brief isolated showers possible. And now your 3-day forecast.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is hereby reopened as we continue with the Minister giving a presentation based on the request for this meeting. And just to remind the public and everyone else that we're on agenda point number 3 for this meeting. We closed off the agenda point 2, which was regarding the new hospital on St. Martin, and then we're now dealing with the request for the meeting that reads the recent integrity-related allegations within the ministry, including the request for an investigation by the Integrity Chamber. For the members of Parliament, I again note that this is document number IS 919. Minister Brug, you may continue with your presentation on the matters outlined in the request for this meeting. Minister Brug.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. Adjusting my presentation to what was requested by the members of Parliament, I have shortened it and I have decided to go straight into the matter at hand. Madam Chair, with regard to the integrity, the aspect with the Integrity Chamber, I would like to inform the members of Parliament that I have officially submitted a complaint to the Integrity Chamber to conduct an investigation on certain matters. However, I have been informed by the Integrity Chamber that the exact nature of my complaint cannot be shared with Parliament or the public at this time. This is because the Integrity Chamber must first review the information that has been submitted and to determine whether a formal investigation will be initiated, and if so, what scope of the investigation would be done. So, Madam Chair Lady, again, this is the information that was given to me by the Integrity Chamber on how much information I can divulge on the floor of Parliament, but also in public. I have recently reached out to the Integrity Chamber to ask for an update. So what I can confirm, yes, I did give a complaint. I submitted an official complaint to the Integrity Chamber. Whether the investigation will be carried out, at this present moment in time, the Integrity Chamber cannot confirm. That's just their process.
Minister, allow me to give the floor briefly to MP Otley for an interruption. MP Otley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, while I hear the Minister, and you may claim that you cannot go into details, what was the investigation? Against who? What is the premise of the investigation? That definitely can be, because then I'll have to read the letters that circulated, and I don't want to be assuming. So what was the premise, and against who? Against what?
Thank you, MP Otley. Minister, you may continue. I don't know if you were finished with your statement on this topic, but then you also have the question, the request by MP Otley. If you can address it now, I invite you to do so.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. I am currently requesting the information, if I can. I'm currently requesting from someone, from legal, if I can answer that particular question. So if I can, I will do it within short. Okay. Yeah, I've already sent it. Someone waiting it. So MP Otley, so what I can say, it is regarding integrity matters within VSR, whether I'm allowed to disclose against who and exactly the topics of my complaint. That is something I'm waiting to find out.
Minister Brug, I see MP Lacruz looking to make use of the interruption lectern. MP Lacruz, you may.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Madam Chair Lady, I want to give the Minister a 10-second advice.
10 seconds.
You are losing us. You are losing us. Yesterday, there was a letter that came out from your person, I believe, with a lot of information. That information now is being asked of you to bring it to the floor of Parliament. We all know already who and what the Integrity Chamber is going to do. And I'm going to tell you this through you, Madam Chair Lady. If you are not there, the Integrity Chamber will speak to the civil servants who are afraid of who remains there. That report will not be what you think it will be. You have the opportunity now to tell us exactly what is happening. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. Minister, you may continue with your presentation. And like I always say, if you can address the point of MP La Cruz, otherwise you just continue with what you had to present.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. Through you, Madam Chair Lady, thank you very much for that 10 seconds advice. Thank you very much for the 10-second advice. MP La Cruz, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. I just want, Madam Chair Lady, for Parliament to allow me to follow the process. I'm going to get the information with regard to what article that I've written. This particular question, can I divulge exactly what Integrity Chamber is doing? I can't. But allow me to continue the presentation, and I'm sure you will hear what you're looking for.
Minister, you may continue, and please continue to direct your answers via the chair.
Yes, of course, Madam Chair Lady, thank you very much for reminding me. I started this presentation, I started the presentation stating the reason why I'm here today. And I stated also in the public is because I refuse to go along with the different requests of the Prime Minister to break the law within the Ministry of VSA. In particular, as it relates to the big legislation project to hiring consultants. Members of Parliament, I received a memo by the Prime Minister dated December 15th, 2025, requesting me to agree in writing that I will deviate from the advice of the ministry. I was instructed to make changes to an advice that was received from the department in which the process of due diligence had already taken place. Because the advice did not reflect the outcome that the Prime Minister wanted, because he had already hired a consultant to execute a project which did not fall under his jurisdiction, Madam Chair, is one of the reasons why I'm here. Abuse of power. Madam Chair, if I had done as he had requested, I would have put aside the entire process and the accountability ordinance and the conditions we agreed to with the TWO fund for the TWO funds would have been in jeopardy, Madam Chair. To then approve the big law frame and his legislative draftman, Madam Chair, again, for the members of Parliament through you, is illegal.
DCOM. The hurricane season officially starts on June 1st and ends on November 30th. The Office of Disaster Management, ODM, which falls under the Fire Department, Ministry of General Affairs, and is headed by Fire Chief Disaster Coordinator Clive Richardson, is appealing to all residents and businesses to begin preparing for the hurricane season. Do not wait until June 1st or until the last minute to make such preparations. You now have time to prepare for hurricane season. Remember, it only takes one hurricane to make it a bad season. The latest forecast from the Colorado State University, CSU, Department of Atmospheric Science anticipates a somewhat below normal activity with 13 named storms, of which 6 could become hurricanes, and of those, 2 could become major hurricanes with wind speeds of 111 plus miles per hour. The 2026 storm names are Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly, Edouard, Faye, Gonzalo, Hannah, Isaias, Josephine, Kyle, Leah, Marco, Nana, Omar, Paulette, Renee, Sally, Teddy, Vicky, and Wilfred. The community is urged to learn more about hurricane hazards and how to prepare for a storm hurricane strike by visiting the government website www.sintmartingov.org.hurricane, where you will be able to download your hurricane season readiness guide and hurricane tracking chart. This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.